I grew up never learning or even hearing who God was, never really feeling loved or accepted, and completely out of place. My mom was an alcoholic who married a very abusive alcoholic man and had 2 half-siblings with. They all had blonde hair and blue-green eyes. My dad was Native, so me being a little brown-eyed, brown-haired girl, I felt completely out of place in this family. He was very abusive and wasn't accepting of me, so I never really felt a part of. She eventually left him, turning to alcohol and other abusive men. Things at home were so bad that I started running away all the time. I was bounced from foster homes, group homes, youth, and detention centers, always running away till I became pregnant at the age of 17. I took care of my son for years the best that I could. I self-medicated with weed, pills, alcohol, whatever I could get to mask my pains and insecurities. Eventually, it wasn't enough, and I turned to crystal meth. The weight started falling off so quickly that I continued to use until I couldn't stop using, and slowly all responsibilities were lost, as well as even motherhood. The drug world is so much different than the regular world. Most people can't understand it unless they've lived in it. In order to survive, you have to be hard-hearted, strong, and not take crap from anyone. I was such a cold, hard-hearted person by now that it was easy for me. I lost so much weight that I started receiving attention from all kinds of men. Right away, I learned that if I didn't give these guys what they wanted, they would continue wanting me. For someone who's never experienced love or being accepted or felt wanted, I thrived on that. I went everywhere with the mindset that I was going to get more and more men to want me, but never give them what they wanted. It fueled me for a while. When I was 30, I started running with a guy that had a street preacher as a dad. It still to this day amazes me how the Lord uses all kinds of people to do his works. His dad started to preach to me almost daily about a God that could save me spiritually and loved me. He would come knocking at the door saying, "It's Jesus, are you going to let me in?" I always respectfully listened, but not with an open mind, till the day I found myself broke down on the side of a canal embankment in the middle of summer in an RV I was living in. I can vividly recall it being so hot, and looking at the thermostat inside the trailer, it read 127 degrees. I had no phone, no help, no money, no food. Most importantly, in that moment, no water. I was so dehydrated and in complete despair that I broke down hysterically crying. I had no idea what I was going to do. And then out of nowhere, I could almost physically hear knocking and a voice saying, "Are you going to let me in?" I remembered that man bringing a Bible and leaving it in the trailer for when he would say I was ready. I grabbed it and I went to the back of my 127-degree trailer. I sat cross-legged at the bench with the Bible in my lap and said, "Okay, God, I don't know you. I don't know if you're real. I don't know how you can help me, but I need help more than anything right now." Hysterically crying, I opened up to the sinner's prayer and I prayed it. Immediately, after saying amen, an overwhelming sense of peace I had never experienced in my whole life washed over me. There was a complete shift in everything I was feeling in that moment. The hysterical crying had stopped. My breaths had slowed down. I was just calm, and I sat there in this calming feeling I had never experienced before. After a couple minutes of sitting in that, the huge crop circles exactly where my trailer was turned on. They were so close that within 5 minutes, I was completely soaked. The area was soaked. I had water bottles filled. There was a rainbow that had formed, and I was introduced to a living and powerful God that I knew cared about me in that moment. For once in my life, I felt calm and at peace and even love. I knew hands down, without a doubt, that God was real and that he cared for me. The prophet Joel says that anyone who truly calls upon the Lord will be saved, and I was saved that day for sure. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my life was good from then on, because it wasn't. I have gone through many more struggles, dark valleys, and trials. But what I can say is that God has been with me through it all. In Romans 8:28, God says he He will work all things together for the good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose for them. God has had a purpose for me, and he has since I was in my mother's womb. He has never left me, and he never will. His Spirit continues to work in and through me. He is strengthening me. He is empowering me. He is showing me how much I am loved and worthy of love. Today I can say with complete honesty that I am a beautiful, worthy, loved mother, daughter, sister, friend with over 3.5 years clean and sober, and it's all because of Christ who lives in and through me. Amen.